Yesterday was my first. By the way, this is Dave Lockwood with Remove It Pros Demolition, and this is our daily vlog. And this is what we're doing here is we're just basically taking you on the journey with us. We're going from one location and the limitations that we have, and we're growing our YouTube channel and some books and creating authority about the business that we're in, that we have been blessed to have, and that has been fairly successful. And it's kind of fun. I've been able to do this with my son and Taylon. It's kind of like having two sons. Taylon comes from a wonderful family. He doesn't have any of that. He's just been working with us for so long and so closely that we've spent more time with him than his family has, and it's been quite an adventure. So something I'd like to talk about today is today they sent me the final draft on the junk removal book. Now I'm going to read back through it. Make sure I didn't miss anything. Also, I didn't notice the final chapter it's not a conclusion. So I'm definitely gonna have to put a final chapter on it. So that's pretty exciting. That's something that I've been working on for quite a while and been pushing to get it done. And we're at that point. Okay. So that's. I like to say that Justin says this always. That's pretty exciting. It is pretty exciting. It's very exciting to me. So, but yesterday when I was listening to this Gary V, I like him. I like him a lot. It's interesting to hear what he has to say, and what's interesting to me is how much of it is. It's the same information that I've been given and that I've been operating off of. And I'm not saying it's all the same. He's way more successful than I am, but it's an interesting thing. So I like to say that there's no new information. And when I say that, I'm going to qualify that statement. What I mean by that is there's no new information on how we function as human beings. Okay? Now, as the world gets further along, it gets more complicated, more convoluted. Oh, excuse me. It's very early in the morning. So there's things that people that have that are driven and who want to have impact and who want to change the world, who want to be impactful to other human beings. There's things that we do, I think people would call it overachieving and a bunch of things like that are probably, in my opinion, a little negative. They're kind of negative connotations. But what I want to talk about is this. There's a couple little things. One, guys like me, we don't retire. Okay, we die. We're marching along and one day we just die. Okay. Now, our bodies may retire us. We may get dementia, we may get Alzheimer's, we may get some of that stuff. Now, there's things that we can do to prevent that, and there's some things I'm working on that I'm working on so that I don't get it. My dad has dementia, so I'm likely to get it. Now, there are nutrients, there's things you do, there's stressors, there's things where your body is going through stuff. My body right now is going through, I'm starting to have some arthritis, and it's something that proactively I'm doing something about. I'm working on getting it not only under control, but there is a state-of-the-art new process that can help me with that. Now, I deal with different stuff every day because of that. Also, I've always been super crazy active, and now I'm in front of the computer more than I am out in the field. So these are big life changes. So I'm dealing with that too. So proactively, you can do things today that you couldn't do before, but still the same stuff. You're still dealing with pain as you get older. It's a part of your life. Something he said yesterday is very important. I say it this way, okay? And I only caught part of what he was saying, but it was kind of enlightening that he had said that. And I thought, you know what, I'm going to bring that up on the vlog tomorrow. So here's the thing: you live your life between your ears. Okay. I don't care what you're doing. I don't care if you're a janitor, or if you're running IBM, or if you're running Amazon. If you're not able to create a world where you have where you're thriving in your head, where you're doing things that you like, you're really not living life. You don't want to live your life and have and be in mental hell the whole time. Okay, so what you need to do is you need to make a plan. You make your plan by saying, okay, all right, let's say that you use my plan. Okay, the plan that I used. The reason I like the plan that I used is because it didn't take a lot of resources, and it doesn't take a lot of brain power. It's pretty simple stuff, and it's very basic, and everybody needs the stuff that you're going to be finding or getting, and this works really, really well. Now, I'm not going to say you're going to make $1 million a year. There are limitations to it. There's only so much money you can make because there's only so much time. Now, how many people you can get to work for you on your behalf that do this? Well, you could scale this as you could become the next Goodwill if you want. A junk removal / Goodwill thing. Okay, you could become that. Yeah. So no, that's not where my journey led me, but my journey led me where I'm at because I'm a contractor. Okay. But I still had the same problem. Went back to zero and started all over. So the junk removal book thing is a way to start from practically nothing and to build into something. And it works. It works. I've done it I did it 3 different times. And, I did it here to survive. I moved to North Carolina and did it up there to get a business running because I didn't want to work for anybody up there either. Then we moved back to Florida and I started it all over again. And all 3 times, seamlessly, it worked. It worked very, very good. So I taught that in this book. Okay, now, none of us are getting out of this alive. That's just the rule. We're not. A lot of people get mixed up in thinking that they're going to have all these friendships. And the books that I've read, the experiences that I have had, all tell me the same thing. When you die, you're going to have about a handful of people that really care about you. And when you lay on your deathbed, you're not going to sit there and worry about how many zeros are in your bank account. You're going to think about the people you love and the people that love you. That's what it boils down to. So those people that are close to you, well, treat them the way you want to be treated. Be there for them. And understand that most of the people that you deal with, they are acquaintances. They will always be acquaintances. They got their same selfish issues that you have, and they are focused on those in their lives. And that's just the way it is. So if you try a different formula, I don't know. I'm just telling you that I've read at least 200. It's probably more like 400. At least 200 unique self-help books. When I say self-help books, what I really mean is people who took the time to sit down and write down their journey into a book and say, I tried this, it didn't work. I tried that, it didn't work. We did this. If you do things this way, it works. If you do things that way, it doesn't work, and so on and so forth. So, retirement and the books, you see a common thread through all of them. They say most people who retire, they die within 5 years. They also, to almost all of them, these are different authors. Now, some of these people, I've read 10 books from one author. That's why I said the 200 and the 400. So I'm not getting the life experience from an additional person. I'm getting more of this person's life experience. Like, for example, Tony Robbins. Another example would be Brian Tracy. Another example would be Zig Ziglar. Another example currently would be Alex Hormozy. Another example would be Daryl Ives. Now, you can't separate your life and business. You're living your life while you do business. So there's life things that go on. So with all that is being said, okay, now I am doing stuff that is contradictory to my belief systems, but they need to be done. For example, search engine optimization. For me to do my own search engine optimization it's just not a good idea. But I am going to do it. Now the reason is not so that I become a search engine optimization expert. First of all, I know a lot about it already. But what I'm going to do it for is I'm going to learn it to a certain point so that I can supervise the people who are working for me and make sure that they're on task and understanding what they need to do. So that's what I'm doing. Now, writing a book, I don't want to become, well, I guess I have become an author, but I'm not looking to be a writer. That's not my goal. What my goal is to put out information and have impact and help people understand how to do things that I've come to learn how to do. Okay? So I'm wearing all these hats. Now I'm a content creator through YouTube. Now, a year ago, I wasn't. A year and 1 month ago, absolutely wasn't. So when I jumped into this, I went and I found an expert. First thing I did was I read a book. Now, when I read the book, you know how I read the book? I read the book on my bicycle. Okay? I'm riding my bike down the beach and I'm listening to this Daryl Ives guy. That's my alone time. That's my solitude time. That's where I can focus really well. That's something that I learned. Now, reading books today, sitting down in a chair and reading books. Now, when I was first started doing this, when I was 20-something years old, I used to ride my stationary bicycle or listen to my Walkman. Do you remember Walkmans? And I did the same thing. I bought the tape programs and I listened to them. And then the ones that were important, I listened to them over and over and over, and I made an imprint on my mind. So these are just some basic things that are very important. If you don't find something that you're happy about doing, something that you enjoy, or something that you enjoy enough that you can use it to step into the thing that you really enjoy, your dream business or whatever it is that you're doing, the junk removal business would allow you to step into that if you're capable of doing that. And if not, if this is not your thing, good for you, man. Identify it, move on. You know, if you're a tiny person or you're a girl and you don't want to do it or whatever, I don't know. You know, I think girls could do this just fine. I think this is a perfect business for single mothers. So the thing about it is, you got to do what you love. Because if you don't do what you love, if you're not enjoying yourself in this life that we're living, what's the point? You know, you got to do that. You got to take the time. Sit down and say, geez, you know, pros and cons. Put a line down in the middle of the paper and say, I like this, but I don't like that. I like this, I don't like that. My dream would be to be this person or to do this or to help people with different things. And no matter what it is, as long as it brings you joy, well, you're only here for a minute. Have the joy, have the fun, have the quality of life that you deserve, you know? So that's my vlog for today. My vlog is saying, hey, you got to start at the beginning, and the beginning is you got to have peace of mind, and you got to really do something that is enjoyable to yourself, or have a pathway to that. Now, the junk removal business, when I first started it, and I wouldn't have called it the junk removal business at that time, but when I first started that, I was learning a computer program to help somebody that thought that they were going to lose their job. Oh, it had me learning how to do this program. It was basically a program on how to flip real estate, which I knew a lot about already, and the guy had a really cool little program, and I was learning it and implementing it for this person. Now that person worked for Rich Dad Poor Dad and eventually did not end up losing their job, or I think she did eventually move from doing this speaking thing into the real estate business. So I lost touch with her, but she's a girl and I'm married. I just said I draw those lines there, and it's a little more complicated than that. But yes, so Mary, that's it. So it's Remove It Pros Demolition. Today we're going to working on SEO stuff. I'm putting out another video on Helene and how they cleaned up here on the island. We put out our video last night, our weekly video, and it basically was just me walking through a whole bunch of properties, 7 of them. And today I'm going to work on the search engine optimization for a couple hours, and then I'm going to go back through this book and I'm going to make sure that I have all the chapters in there that I want, and I'm also going to make sure that the conclusion is satisfactory, and then I'm probably just going to pull the trigger and get that thing done and then go ahead and start promoting it. So Mary, this is Dave Lockwood, Remove It Pros Demolition. This is the Remove It Pros Pure Entrepreneur, and I'm just talking to you about my experiences. So I'll see you on the next video.